saw you on video rapping the boot up. I guess that's something is one of your favorite songs? Or?
Just familiar with the lyrics. It's a good laugh. It's always, don't take yourself too seriously. So I think the players enjoyed it. And, I can't sing a lick, but that's really not what karaoke's all about. So hopefully the guys got a good kick out of it. And like I said, it's always good to put yourself out there. It's a good lesson for players. Don't take yourself too seriously.
So we're not giving up our day job?
No, I haven't got any phone calls yet. So I don't anticipate that happening.
As a guy who's been through this from the player's side, just how important in the slog of fall camp is it to maybe have those moments where it just everything's a little bit looser, a little bit, everything can just blow off full steam?
Yeah, it's great. We ask a lot of our players, and it's always good to laugh. Coaches and players included. And it's good to be vulnerable in front of other, guys on your team and be made fun of. I mean, that's what family's all about, So I know me, my brothers and I, and my dad and mom, and my wife, we crack jokes all the time and laugh and enjoy each other's company. So I always think that's good to be able to do that, especially right now you're in the thick of camp where it's hard, That's what football's all about. So it's good to have a little bit of a lighter moment or two.
What's Peyton been showing you so far in camp?
Just a maturity. His body's developed. He's bigger, stronger. He's just more mature. He's understanding the day-to-day grind of being a Big Ten football player, and so I've been pleased with that.
He's been talking about hoping to get more targets, more opportunities to catch the ball downfield. Something that kind of you have to earn, or how do you think he's?
Yeah, I mean, quarterbacks, they don't have any biases. They throw to the guys that get open regularly, and there's plenty of opportunities for all 5 eligible receivers on every down to get the ball. So you got to do your job to know your assignment, run the right route, and create separation so the quarterbacks feel comfortable to throw it to you. So those opportunities are there for everybody, and ultimately when you get those chances, you got to take advantage of them.
As you kind of broke down in the offseason what he did last year as a redshirt freshman, what did you feel like kind of you could mark down as his strengths, and maybe what were the areas you were kind of underlining in terms of saying this is where he can get better, this is where we can really push him forward?
I don't think I mentioned this at the beginning of training camp. There are no physical limitations for Peyton. He's big and strong. He can run. He can catch. I think a strength of his would just be toughness and competitiveness. He didn't shy away from anything his first go around in the Big Ten. And then, things to develop and get better at was more preparation, how you take care of your body, how you take care of your mind, so that you can be at your best, on Saturdays every fall. So I think that maturity has started to set in. He understands the importance of having his body feel fresh, his mind feel fresh, and he's taking the next step to try to prepare in a more mature and a better way.
Do you think he's also kind of getting, I know he's only a redshirt sophomore, but a mentality where he sets the tone for that group? And I know he's obviously that's not something you want only one guy to do, but do you think he's maybe embraced trying to be the guy that leads everybody else?
I think he's improved at that. I don't know if in his mind he ever saw himself as someone that has a lot of influence, even though he does. The guy in our room that has, since I've been in the room, that's really tried to set the tone from an effort and toughness standpoint has been Matt Bjorson. And I think Peyton realizes the impact that he can have and that he has elevated his leadership and his influence on the group and on the team. So I think he's starting to understand that, leadership's best coupled by performance. And if you're a good player, you have an opportunity to lead. And I think he's taking advantage of some of those opportunities.
The topic came on the board. He's obviously looking to use the tight ends a lot more in this offense. What can your group do to add, and what can they improve the offense?
Well, I think just versatility. The tight end position across the country is a versatile position. You can, run at routes from detached sets. You can be in the core and block. It just adds a lot of versatility to your offense. And we're practice 9 or 10, or is that what we're on? 11, whatever day we're on. So we're right in the middle of it. Roles have not been defined yet. Guys are working every day. Coach DeBoer and the staff are still learning what each guy does and really how we can get the best 11 on the field at one time, depending on the team we're playing, to give ourselves the best shot to win. So that's the great thing about Coach DeBoer. He's been a coordinator for many, many years, has had lots of different types of players, and so he has knowledge at all different personnel groupings, formations, schemes, you name it. And it's been great, and it's been a challenge for the players to learn that and see how they're going to fit when we get in the fall.
All right, how do you how's the confidence going?
It's been really high.
Yeah,
so
really good.
Preseason, got some awards that it's really big to me and means a lot, but it's also made me work a lot harder. So
That's awesome.
I have to prove myself.
It's awesome. So as a special teams unit, how confident do you feel that you can flip the field effectively this year?
I feel really good about it. We have a lot of experience and like a lot of talent in that room. So
Personally, how's the leg doing?
That's doing really good. So it's a lot stronger now.
Yeah.
I was talking to Hayden about the trick that you guys did on BTN. I mean, when the guy's putting his nose down there, are you at all afraid you're going to hit his nose? Or
No, I told him I wouldn't, and we trust each other. So
How long you guys been doing that for?
that was just the first time. It's kind of like a spur to the moment. So
yeah. I mean, how much more confident would you say you are as a kicker coming in this year? I mean, you had that moment at Maryland. You've obviously been through a whole Big Ten season as the kicker.
Yeah.
How more does that change about where you're at right now as a kicker?
like my mental toughness has gone up a lot, and then obviously with the experience it helps a lot. So like I'm able to stay more calm in situations and know what to do and everything. So
How nervous would you say you were when the Maryland game situation came up?
I weirdly don't get nervous in those. I just kind of like black out and really like don't think of anything.
Is there any situations you get nervous in on the field? No.
No.
Okay. So what is the competition like right now? Obviously, you got a younger kicker behind you. Are you guys pushing each other, or what is that?
Yeah. So he's really good, and he always makes sure to push me, and I push myself. So we're really close together.
Is there anything you want to improve, or things that you tried to improve on coming into the year?
Just like little details, and staying consistent. I really want to shoot for perfection, obviously. So just staying calm in games like that and keep kicking them and making them.
Yeah, 'cause I think the one PAT you missed was in the rain, or
Yeah, and blocked. Yeah.
yeah. Do you still think about that at all, or?
Not really. So the blocks, like, I always trust my line. So if I didn't trust them, then I'd be kind of a head case. So I trust them and they trust me.
Do you have any personal goals coming into the season?
Just really staying consistent and being a better leader and making sure like every specialist is along and helping out in any way.
Good scrimmage on Saturday. Very encouraged by overall. There's some areas obviously we got to continue to work really hard at, but just thought the guys competed well. Thought that we had a very good, offense versus defense competition part that both sides were making plays. Thought we had too many holding calls on the O-line, so we got to work on that. Had a Big Ten officiating crews here, which was great to talk to our team, and even had a couple pass interference on defense, which was good to get those called, but they were costly at key times. Both sides of the ball had some penalties that I thought took us out of position to make plays. But as an overall evaluation, just thought that the group competed well. Thought that got a lot accomplished. Some really good special teams work in with our punt protection, going live with that and working on that. I think Hayden's really punting the ball extremely well right now. I thought our kickoff work was really effective, and Nate Snyder has really been kicking the ball well, and a lot of good hang time on his kickoffs and distance, and Jared Smolar as well is working hard and had some good kicks as well. So pleased with those guys, their work, and just felt like that it was a good next step for us. A lot to evaluate, a lot to get better at, but really felt like that our guys really took that first scrimmage, and we call it preseason game number 1, and it was a good measuring stick to see where we're at and what we got to reevaluate and adjust for this next week to get ready for preseason game number 2, which is going to be on Saturday.
Are you where you thought you would be at that point? I know you mentioned some penalties that you didn't like to see, but
yeah, I mean those are kind of typical in some beginning. You don't have the officials in practice every single day, and if you ask the D line, the O line holds every play. So if you ask the receivers, the DBs interfere with them every play. So it's good for me to get those officials here so I can just say, hey, that's up to them now. They either called it or they didn't. But yes, you get that. That's typical of the first scrimmage, I think, and so, but yeah, I would say in some ways, in terms of the knowledge of a new offensive system and the way they execute it, maybe a little bit ahead of what I thought we might be. I think Coach DeBoer's he and I have talked. We both agree with that. And then defensively, just the lack of mental mistakes has been encouraging. Guys in the right fits, guys in making the right checks and adjustments. So just a lot of guys that are involved that are doing a lot of good things. So probably maybe a little ahead in both of those areas in terms of execution on each side of the ball. Now we just got to get to where we're doing it at a high level all the time.
It's just to get it out of the way. where are things at quarterback? Is anything changed? Is there anything maybe narrowed down in your mind, or is it still?
I tell you, it's almost harder than ever because I think all three of them played pretty well, and so yeah, it's still open. I mean, they just got to keep doing what they're doing and got to find a way to separate themselves a little bit. But no, I don't know that Saturday made it any easier or clarified things at all. But you see what they can do, and they all do good things, and I think which is good. I mean, I want to have a lot of good options and want to have guys that can make plays, and so I thought our receivers they're really playing well right now in regards to catching the football and getting lined up right and running routes, and so it's just a group that kind of sticks out to me. And obviously the quarterback play is part of that, and all three quarterbacks are able to do some good things, so I think that helps. And just really think that group of guys, quarterbacks, receivers, all the work over the summer, I think is really paying off.
10-11 practices in, Coach, from a health standpoint, how are you guys doing?
Yeah, that part's been encouraging. We've had a couple guys, and Reese Taylor's got a hand injury, but he should be okay in time. And Gary Cooper had some lower leg injury that he had worked on a little bit, so he'll be out a few weeks. But other than that, guys are pretty healthy, and you got your typical hamstrings and things like that, but nothing so far that has kept guys out of much practice. So, and we're trying to manage that and do a really good job. Even like today's was by design to be able to give our guys a rest and recovery day, as well as a really effective situational practice to work on some specific things, corrections from the scrimmage, as well as getting some things squared away. But I was glad that we didn't hit today. I mean, we've had a lot of good physical practices so far, and trying to do a great job. I want us to be a really good team that practices really well on our feet in shells, that has great tempo, great intensity, great thuds, and learn how to tackle that way, learn how to block that way, and keep everybody on their feet. I think that's positive for everybody. But just learn to practice that way without taking guys down all the time. We'll still have some live goes here the rest of the way, but those will be pretty controlled.
Didn't see Donovan out there. Is it just a rest day? Or
Yeah, today's a rest day.
Okay.
Yeah, by design. So he's had a really good fall camp.
Whether it be quarterback or anywhere else, as you get deeper into camp, are there some positions that you start to think, hey, I want to start to kind of make some decisions here, or are you still in the mind?
Yeah, we
just
are.
Leave a lot of stuff open.
No, I think that as a staff, we had conversations yesterday after the scrimmage just about getting more specific into the ones and the twos. So I think you'll see more of that in practice, less emphasis on the threes because they're just reps. You need to get more reps for those guys, and then so the twos will be a combination of certain threes and then the guys that we're trying to get ready for game day. So still not in game prep mode yet, but this next week leading up to preseason game number 2 is going to be a big emphasis on getting the guys ready that we think are going to be playing for us on Saturdays. And so yeah, you'll see a little bit of shift in that for sure.
The physicality in the scrimmage, was it what you wanted?
It's good, and we're we've tackled well throughout fall camp, which needs to continue. And keep working on that, but I think that it's just that balance between the two of how many live goes do you go, how much is enough, how much is not enough, how much is too much. So really in that mode right now, and we got certain guys on offense that I know what they can do. So getting them, tackled or receivers going to the ground doesn't make a lot of sense probably for certain ones. So, but I think you got to start managing that for sure. But at the same time, there's guys that we still got a lot of youth. Those running backs got to take those hits so they can get ready to secure the ball and be able to be effective on game day. So yeah, that's just you kind of find yourself in that situation every year at this time of the year. But so far, we just got to keep making good decisions.
With the quarterback race being as tight as it is, and obviously probably going down to the last week before the game, you get confident that guy's going to have enough reps, whoever that guy ends up being?
Yeah, and I think so, and that's where we have to do a really good job with those. And that's why, the sooner the better, make a decision for that for sure. But we're just not ready to make that call yet. But I do think that that's part of the thought process as well. And that's why we did practice longer and may do that for a little bit, but not much longer. We got to get the guys honed in on who's going to be the one out there on Saturdays.
So you got a lot of freshmen that knock on the door to be in the rotation and play. But one guy at a tough position, Matthew Bedford, do ideally, I'm guessing you guys would probably like to redshirt him, but how tempting is it to, I know Coy Cronk's in front of him, but he looks like he's a guy that could play right away.
Well, there's no question. I mean, if you could redshirt them all, that's ideal. That you get a chance to develop them. It's just not going to be reality. So I just he's really progressed. There's no question being here in the spring was huge for him, and I think that he's behind Coy right now on the depth chart. But you talk about having who's your next best offensive lineman that you have to insert somewhere, and so right now he's that guy, and so. But he's still, even today, his head was spinning on some things, So when you start being in there all the time, that which we try to give him some more reps on Saturday. But he's, I don't think we'll be redshirt with Matthew Bedford. I think he's going to have to play.
You talked a lot about Caleb Jones, I guess, conceptually or through the spring, through the off season. But now that you are here in fall camp and you're getting close to the business end, are you seeing kind of the mindset you want to see from him in terms of really holding that right tackle spot?
Yeah, you go through and you, like you said, you sit a young man down at the beginning of spring and you see what you think he can become, and what you recruited him to come here to do, and you set that out and you challenge the guys around him like we have with Coy and that whole group, and he's responded, and I was positive about him after spring and into the summer, and he continued to do what he's had done before and even probably take it to another level for summer work goes, and he's continued. So he's playing his best football right now since he's been here, and I think everybody on our staff would agree with that. And so we just got to keep climbing with him. So very proud of him. And he can't let up. He's where he's at for a reason, and he's really accepted the challenge of being a Big Ten starter. Now he's got to do that every single day, because you can't just. We're all of us have to keep getting better, and that's where the depth behind him and a guy like Matthew Bedford to say, hey, this guy's ready, waiting to chomping at the bit to play too, So, but at the same time, Aiden Rafferty's really come along and made a lot of progress as well. So I just feel like that, we needed Caleb to step up, and he has, and so I'm happy for him and happy for us. Just got to continue.
Coach Nelson, when you give DC duties, one thing you said you want to do is be more involved with special teams. How's that gone for you, and how do you feel like that unit's come along so far in the first 10, 11 years?
Yeah, well, a big part of special teams is recruiting depth and speed and athleticism, and it's that to me is where we have been hurt in the past, where we got exposed a little bit as injuries would mount, and guys really have to be in those situations, all that open space that happens on special teams, and we got, it hurt us, so having a lot of these young defensive players, and it's an easy place for them to get reps. They don't take as much time to learn as the defense might learn, or even the skilled guys on offense, So I expect that to be better. Recovery units, which is a big indication of that, and then the specialists themselves, the kickers and the punters, and Hayden's is having a great camp. Really encouraged by his progress in his pocket punts. He's always been good on the move, and really good job. And we call them goal punts. We're trying to pin people inside the 10. He's done a great job of that, and obviously Logan is doing. I tell you, Charles is right there, and we told him it's the best kicker kicks. I know Logan was the kicker last year, and I'm not trying to create any pressure on anybody, but Charles Campbell's kicked extremely well in fall camp. So those guys are competing, and obviously Charles already redshirted, so he'll get a chance. We got to get him some live game kicks, as the season unfolds. And so, but I'm encouraged by that, and I think, like you said, I already talked about Nate and Jared Schmolar for the kickoff. They're battling, they're competing for that job. So I like the competition that we have going on there, and I like how Hayden's turned into a leader. We if you ask our strength staff, they're like he leads at the level of a captain. In regards to effort and toughness and work ethic in the weight room, and just the mindset that he has, which usually have specialists in those roles, but he's put himself in that position at least be considered. So, but and he leads that whole group. And so that's exciting. He was on our leadership council, and he's really taking charge of that. So you want to see it in all three phases. We got to keep getting better on special teams, and I believe that we have a chance to be better.